I'm now starting a new tutorial here to cover more about the draw tools and more specifically some of the draw assignments we're doing in computer literacy. I have my version here of Word. Actually, I got the Mac version 2016 that looks virtually identical to 365. If there's a difference, I'll discuss it in class, but this should work fine. And what I'm going to do first here is set the margins for the page. I have a brand new blank page here, and I'm just going to double check the margins here. And sometime for drawing, we make the margins a little bit smaller. I'm going to change my view here. I have the view blown up a bit, make it a little bit smaller. And we got 1-inch margins. Not all bad. I mean, they're not the end of the world, but I want to give myself a little more drawing room. So I'm going to go up here to Format, Document, and make all these a 1/2 inch. Now this is kind of optional. You don't necessarily have to do this, but it'll give you a little more space to draw. Now I can also click Page Setup here, and if you want to have a wide page as opposed to a tall page, that's a preference. For most of the assignments we do here in the draw section, it doesn't really matter which one you do, but I just thought I'd mention that in case anybody would like to do that. Okay, so now that when I go to close this, it says fix. It thinks it's too close to the printed area. In other words, if you print it, it might cut it off a little. But usually at 1/2 inch, you're pretty safe with most printers. So I would just click ignore on this here. I'm going to do a save also, and as we've discussed in class, you can save online to your OneDrive, or you can save to your desktop. Maybe as we set up a computer lit folder with a Word folder, and then I would recommend having a draw folder in there because you are going to need a draw folder to keep all your draw assignments in. Now this first one here is going to be motor, and that was where we make some cars or boats or trucks. So I'm just going to name it Motor 1. And if you want to make one for each drawing you do, you want to put 2 drawings, I'd like you to do at least 2 for this assignment. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. I'm just going to save mine to the desktop for now to get it out of the way. So I got this here open now, and I'm just going to put here, draw a car, truck, or boat. Okay, and start with a car drawing assignment, and then some students would say, could I draw a truck? And I said, okay, go for a truck. And the others would say, can I make a boat? So they're all kind of similar, so we'll keep them the same. Now this is meant to be kind of a fun assignment, a chance to try out some of these shapes. You can use some free drawing tools, but I don't want you to do this entirely free drawing. In other words, I want you to do as much as you can with shapes and fills and that, and then you can add a few little touches here and there with the line tool or another type of free form or free drawing tool. Okay, so we have to go to Insert to get to our shapes, and then here's Shapes right here. To start out, I'll start with the most basic. I'll click a rectangle, and I'm just going to draw a basic rectangle here. Do like a car, truck, or this case here it's going to be a car. And we don't want to leave the default fill, so we can go up here to fills and try, you can try out some different things, try a different color, different look. You can put a little different border around it if you'd like. And so that's a start. That's just the side of it. Now, what I'm going to draw here is going to be very basic. Most students impress me how they make cars that look a lot better. I'm going to show you a few tricks here too. To put tires on here, I want a perfect circle. So I'm going to go back to Insert, back to Shapes. I'm going to go down to the Oval tool. It's technically called Oval, not Circle. Now to make a perfect circle, I'm going to come here at my crosshair after I click the Oval tool, hold down the Shift key, and drag out what I think should be about the size of the tire, and let go. Now up here is a shortcut. I could do a black fill, but you don't have to do black on your tires. That's just what I'm doing. Or you can go here and pick whatever color you'd like. Now here, I held down the Shift key to get that perfect circle with the Oval tool. Now for my other tire, I want to, quite frankly, be the same style and the same size and everything. So with this one selected, you can either go up to Edit, which is a little bit cut off here, and go to Copy, or I usually just do a Command C, which is the Command key is next to the space bar, and you hold that and the letter C at the same time and copy it. Okay? Then you can do a Command V, which is a paste. You can go here and go to paste, and it will now put another identical copy right on top of it. Now I'm going to move this identical copy over here and let go and deselect, and now I've got my two tires. I'm not saying this is perfect. This is meant to be a practice exercise, but it's not bad. Now, next thing I'm going to do, we've already done a little bit with the range. I'm going to click on here. Now, when I click on here, it brings up the shape format toolbar. If it doesn't do that, you might need to click again. Now, when I do that, I'm going to click up here under Arrange, and I'm going to go to Send Backward. Now, it doesn't really matter if I do send backward or send to back. It's only going to go one layer anyway. The main difference of send backward and send to back is if you had maybe 3-4 things overlapping and you want to go all the way back, you can just go send to back. If you do send backward, it'll go one layer at a time. So if it's overlapping maybe 4 things, each time you do it, it'll send it back behind one more object. So all the objects have a order of how they are on top of each other. So by sending it either to the back or backward, either one will work in this case, it'll put it now behind there. Now, why did that not do that? Probably because I let go too quick. So I'm going to simply go here and try it again. Okay, there it worked that time. So now I'm going to click on this one and do the same thing and simply send it backward. Okay, so there's the start of my car. Now there's all kind of things you can do, all kind of ways you can design it. There's no one way. You don't have to do it the same way I do. I want you to make a good faith effort with some different shapes and colors and fills and maybe a few free-form tools. So I'm going to go back to Insert here. I'm going to go to Shapes and think, what would I like for the front of my car? And of course, there's no one option. There's many different things you can do. So I'm just simply going to pick, let's see here. Maybe I'll try a triangle. Now, even though I could pick this triangle, I'm going to go for the right triangle here. And I'm going to purposely draw one that's not going to quite fit right. It's going to be like, okay, something's not right. I want it flipped. Now, there's 2 ways you can do that. You can go up here to the Rotate tool. You notice when you put your cursor up here, you get the circular rotate symbol. And you could just simply do something like that. And then once you get close, you could resize it if you need to, move it around a little bit. And now some people might say that doesn't look that great, but this is just one thing you can do. It's just use an example. Now there is a place I could have went under Arrange and rotate over here and try different type of rotations and flips in that, and there, I could have got some of the same. Did the same thing using a little different method, but just rotating it manually is probably the easiest in this case. Also in this case, I'm going to do a little different fill as long as I got it selected. I can have the front of my car could look a little different, maybe a little darker color green. Another thing is if this isn't quite lined up how you want and selected, you can use the arrow keys and go up and down if you need to do some precision, left and right, whatever you need to do there. And then I'm going to deselect. So I'm not saying that's perfect, but just one thing you can do. Probably you'll think of something better. Now to put something up here, I'm going to do a little different shape. I'm going to go to Insert, go to Shapes, and I like this trapezoid. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over under Basic Shapes. And I'm going to drag it something like this. It's got a little bit of an angle here. It looks a little more like a window. Okay, and I'm going to give it a little different fill here. I'll just try something out, maybe a gray for something different, and deselect. And again, there's all kind of things you can do with this. Now, if I want to put some doors on here, might go do a couple more shapes. So I'm going to go here, go to Shapes, what looks like a door here, maybe a rectangle again. And I'm going to drag in a door there. Now maybe I want this door to be identical, so I can click on here. Maybe at first I'm going to give it a different color. I'll give it maybe, let's see, I want to go with a completely different color. What would that look like? A little weird. Okay, maybe I should stick a little to one of the shades of green. Maybe I'll do a darker shade of green. What the heck? Okay, I got that selected. I do a Command C, a copy. I could also go to the edit menu and go to copy. Then I'm going to do a paste. Again, I could go to the edit menu or do a keyboard shortcut, Command V. I'm going to put this next to it really close to give it a look of a door. Is it perfect? Of course not. But it looks something like a door at least. And again, you can add in all kind of other stuff. Some people might want to do some stuff with some free drawing. If you click on Insert and you click on Shape and go to the other end of the lines, there is a Scribble tool and there is a Freeform. I'm going to click on Freeform and I'm going to pretend I want to put something here in the windows. So I do that and then I come here and then I go up there. Now again, this is hand drawn and I let go and it actually filled a little bit. So if I want to change the color of that, I can go to a fill. Because I did fill it, I went all the way around, so there's something that's fillable. And again, you can go on and add more and more features. But basically, I just wanted to show you some stuff with shapes and arranging and just give you a little idea, get a start here. I'm just going to do a really quick boat, a sailboat. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go up to Insert and go to Shapes. And I'm going to go to Trapezoid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over. Now for my boat, I'm going to drag the trapezoid like that. And you might say, that doesn't look very boat-like. It looks almost opposite. Well, again, I'm going to do a flip. Except this time, instead of using the rotate, which I can do, I'm going to go up here under Arrange. I'm going to go over here. There's a little hidden rotate menu here. And I'm going to flip it vertically. Okay, now it's probably looking a little more boat-like. Now this, beside the normal handles, you can resize your now boat. I can click on this little yellow one here and adjust the angle in case I want a slightly different angle. Now I want my boat to be wooden. Now how do I do that? Well, with this selected, I'm going to go up here to fill, but instead of colors, I'm going to go down to textures. Now when you go to textures, you'll notice there's at least two that look like wood. There's one down here that's oak, and there's one here that's medium wood. Either one, I'm going to do the medium wood. So that I might have a boat that looks like made out of wood. Again, this is just is a reason to try out some different techniques. I'm going to go back to my Insert and Shapes. Even though this doesn't necessarily fit perfect, I'm going to go the second to the last in the middle row of basic shapes. It's called Can. What are you going to do with that? I'm going to make a little mast. Okay, is this perfect? No, but it's okay. It'll do. And if you want to change the color on it, I'll make it black. Now I want to put a sail, so I would need a triangle. So I'm going to go up to Insert, and I'm going to go to Shapes. And I'll go under Basic Shapes, third one over, do a basic triangle. And then I will draw my triangle. Okay, I can always move it, so I'm going to make it about as big as I want. Then I can click on it, move it over a little bit, and make the fill maybe a little different color. Maybe do almost a grayish color and deselect. And that's the start of a really simple boat. And if you want to add other features or other things on it, you could do that. So that is for that assignment. I'm going to go ahead and hit save on this. You can't really see because it's a little bit blocked off here, but just did a standard save. And I'm going to literally close this. Now you can't see the file menu from this view, but I'm going to go to File and go to New Document and get a new document. Now this one does have the 1-inch margins on it. I'm going to change that right away and go to Document here, and I'm going to make this 0.5 all the way around again. Now I don't want to make this default because it's not very many documents I do this to. Most of them are like 1-inch margins. This will give me a little more room. Now it says fix. We're just going to do ignore and have it a little bit wider. Now this one is going to be a poster. This is going to be our poster. I can go ahead and save it and just simply name it poster. And it's going to be about Binder Park Zoo. So we need some images. So I'm going to open up Google Chrome, which opens up here. And I'm going to click here, and I'm going to do Binder Park Zoo. Okay, so that's just, I'm going to do a search. Now, I don't want to go to the zoo's website. I did not do that to go to the zoo's website. Okay, so what are we going to do if we're doing a search for Binder Park Zoo? We're going to go to Images. Now, in Images, the first image we're going to find is a logo. A logo means like this one here, it says Binder Park Zoo, or this one here, and there might be some other ones around if you look around. But to keep it simple, I'm going to click on this one right here. It opens up in this bigger window here. And by the way, I can see some other ones here. If I change my mind, I could click on. But once you have it, whatever one you want, you have open here, do a right click, go to Save Image As, and that should bring up a dialog box. Now, many of you have dialog boxes come up real small like this. Make sure you click and expand it. Now, if you're saving to the desktop like I'm doing, make sure it's on desktop. It'll say desktop right here. Give it a meaningful name. Don't just leave whatever's there. This one says download. That means nothing. So I'm going to name it Binder Logo. Okay. Now I can see down here this is going to be a JPEG image. Now I don't have a folder to put it in. So I'm going to notice when you're here, wherever you're at, desktop or maybe your Word folder or wherever it is that you went to, you can make a folder at this point. If you don't have one where you want one, you can make one. So this is where I want it for right now because I'm not putting a subfolder because I'm at home where I don't have my subfolder for this. And I'm going to click New Folder. And I'm just going to call it Binder Files. I'm going to save. I could put Binder Images, Binder Pics. Actually, Binder Pics would not be all bad. Okay, because most of them are going to be pictures. And I will hit Create. So my first one's going to be called Binder Logo. It's going to go in Binder Pics, which is on my desktop. If I was at school, it would be in my Comp Lit folder, in my Word folder, and then there'd be Binder Pics in there, or maybe a Draw folder, subfolder. Then I'm going to hit Save. One image has been saved. Now the next one I want everyone to do is an entrance image. Now there's one right here. If you look around, there's probably some other ones around. I found a couple of them when I looked through more pictures, but you can go to the first one you find, no problem. Click on it. You might see some other entrance pics once you do that. If you want to pick on one of the other ones, go ahead. I'm going to use this one right here. See people going in the zoo all excited. And I'm going to do a right click. Do a Save Image As. Now it comes up with a really weird name. So I'm going to just simply put entrance. I don't need to name all these Binder because they're going to go in a Binder folder. So everything in there is going to be Binder. So this is a JPEG. I named it entrance. I leave the .jpg in there. And I hit save. So now I got an entrance picture and a logo. Now I'd like you to get 3 animal pics. It could be these giraffe pics, lion pics. Got the lemur over here. And there are other animals if you scroll down through here from Binder Park Zoo. So go find some. I'm going to go up to the top here. I'm going to start with this one here of the giraffes being fed. I like that picture. I'm going to do a right click. I'm going to do Save Image As. And just simply name it Giraffe. Okay, and there'll be a JPEG. It's going now, once you set up this folder, it just keeps defaulting back there. This is called workflow when you get a good system going that's fast and efficient and does what you need it to do. So we're getting the files we need, we're getting them saved, we're getting a meaningful name on them, and we're putting them in a folder we know right where they're at. So we make our poster, we can find them immediately. Now I'm going to hit save. So I got my giraffe pic. Now I like this lion's picture right here. I'm going to click on that. Now there's some other lion pics. Maybe I changed my mind and I want this one instead. And do a right click and do a Save Image As. And I'll just simply, of course, name it Lions. And it's going to go in my Binder Pics folder. It's a JPEG. Pretty easy to figure out. And I'm going to hit Save. I got one more to do. I like this lemur down here. This guy right here. And I like that picture. I'm going to do a right click. I'm going to do a Save Image As. And I'm going to do a lemur. I think it's Lemur. Of course, these are just our file names, so if you misspell it, not the end of the world. Nobody's going to see it. Later, when we make captions, that'll be important to put in proper captions. Okay, so now we got our images. So we got a logo, we have an entrance, and 3 different animals. That's all we need. I can now quit the web browser or minimize it and get it out of the way. Now, what we're going to do now is insert all of our images. We don't have to lay it out right now. We just want to get them on here. And we're going to do a little trick to them so we can move them around easily and work with them easily. So you can go to Insert right here and go to Pictures and go Picture from File. Or you can go way up here and go to Insert, go to Pictures, and Picture from File. They both do the exact same thing. So I'm going to click on Picture from File, either one, whichever way you want to do it. There's my binder pics, and it doesn't really matter the order. I may as well start with the first one, binder logo, and I do an insert, and there it is. I could resize it. It came in fairly small, so that's okay. I want to leave lots of room here. And then I'm going to, right now I can't move it where I want it, okay? So what I'm going to do is when it's selected here, okay, go up here where it says wrap text, pull this down and select tight. Now normally wrap text is for when you're going to put the image over a bunch of text, which we'll do in a later assignment, and it'll wrap the text around it. But what this does, kind of a little trick, I click on it, and I find tight works good for me. Now I can move this exactly where I want it, which I couldn't do before I did that. So that's why I do that. And of course you could rotate this and you could resize it and do the usual types of edits to it. I'm going to deselect that. Now I'm going to go back to Insert. This time I'll do it this way just for something different. Go here, Picture from File. Now I'm going to do Entrance. Click Insert. Now this one came in quite large. It's a much bigger picture. I'm going to resize it. Now sometimes when you resize these and that, they move around weird. They jump around a little bit. Don't panic. Just a little quirkiness of working with these images. Now again, I can't move this at all until I go up here to wrap text. Do it tight. Now again, it looked like it just did something weird, but I'm going to move it around, and there it is. It's just fine. It went on top of there for some weird reason. Okay, and I'm going to continue on here. Pictures from File. This time I'll do my giraffe. And that came in over here. While it's selected, I'm going to do a text wrap, do a tight, and put it down here. And then I'm going to, this time I'll go to Insert up here, Picture from File, do my lemur, Insert. Now that one came in very big. It's a much nicer quality image. Okay, I made it smaller. Sometimes out of habit I hold down the Shift key. When I resize it, from the old days to keep it from getting distorted, but it looks like if I don't hold down, it doesn't get distorted either way. Now again, I want to go to wrap text, do the tight so I can move it. Now once I do that, it jumped, but I can now move this exactly where I want it. And let's see, we got another one here. Go to Insert Pictures from File, and there's the lions. I'm going to bring that in, the last one. This one's a rather large picture. Resize it quite a bit smaller. Okay, grab handles for that. And with it selected, I'm going to go up here to wrap text, do a tight. It jumped, but no big deal. Just move it here. So now we have a number of images here. We got 5 on here for our page. Now I got my page kind of blown up here so students can see everything easily. But I'm going to just drag it a little bit smaller here just so you can see more of my page layout. Okay, you can see you can't see the bottom of it here, but I got a page layout here going. Now, before we go any further, I don't know if you know this, but you can pick a different page color background. You do not have to use white. So click up here where it says, let's see, is it under Design? Yes, it is. Click the Design tab, go over here to Page Color, pull down the menu, and pick a color. And I encourage you to try out some different ones. I could try out something like that, not all bad. I could try out maybe a greenish color. I kind of like that better in some ways. I could try a gray, not really, kind of plain. I could try, now if you do a black, I had some students try black. In some ways it looks kind of cool, but later when you put captions and other stuff on here, you're going to have to do bright colors. It's going to be a little bit more challenging to work with text boxes and captions. So if you're prepared for that, great. If you're not, I recommend using maybe a lighter color. Blue, not my favorite for this series. I kind of like something more in either this range or something in the greenish range. I think I'll leave it on the greenish for right now. Now, right now we're just doing a rough layout. So I'm going to move this down a little bit. I want to put Binder Park Zoo at the top and not with the logo. The logo we're going to actually put near the bottom. So how are we going to put Binder Park Zoo up here? We're going to use word art. So get your cursor up here. Make sure your cursor's not in the header. Okay, don't accidentally click up in the header. So just click there. Now let's go back to Insert. And word art is over here. And you see there's a bunch of pre-made word arts. So you can, not sure which one. You can change the color and size and all that after you make it. So don't worry too much about the color. Look for a style. And I'm going to click on, I'll click on this style right. Actually, I'll go to this one here. Now it comes in automatically, ready to start typing. So we're going to type Binder Park Zoo. You can drag this here out. Now if I want to, you can move this around. You don't have to do the tight thing, the tight thing with the word wrap. You can highlight this. Now if you want to make it bigger, whoops, I accidentally deleted it. So when in doubt, undo. I actually hit the wrong button. Okay, so one way to make this bigger is go back to Home. Go to the size here and maybe do 48. Now, if it starts doing like this, if you like that, great. If you don't like it, then you resize the text box it's in. And now I actually like how this is. Now, I'm going to highlight this because I want to do a little bit of editing to it. But I need to go back to, well, actually, I need to kind of click on the border. Well, that didn't bring it up. So I'm going to go back to Insert, see if anything comes up there. I got the word art menu. I'm going to go to Design. That's got some fonts. If I want to change the font around, that's actually probably not best for this. There is a place you can go to edit this. Let's see here. Well, I'm going to go back to Home for now and just do some edits here. And there are other places you can go that pop up if you click around for doing editing. I'm going to go under here. That's one place I can go. Now, there's all kinds of stuff here. There's shadows. I could put a shadow on it. Okay, I could change the color, obviously, with a greenish there. Let's see, I can try some out. Would a gold look good? Maybe. What if I turn this into a maroonish color? Okay, I could try that. I could try some other colors here. Usually you want to have some contrast, so you don't want to have it too close to the background. So maybe going with a brighter color would not be a bad idea. So there is Binder Park Zoo at the top. Now for our layout, I want the entrance somewhere near the top. Now, being I got this picture right here, the giraffe, which I also want near the top, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to put this next to it and drag this out to be similar size with similar margins and that. Now, again, if you're doing precision editing, you can always click on it and use the arrow keys to go up or down or left or right to do some precision editing. Now, I'm not going to do the entire layout here. You don't need to watch me do the entire layout. And I'm not fine-tuning it either. This is still rough. I'm going to show you just a couple things you're going to need to know to finish this up. First of all, there's a couple ways you can do captions. You can click on a picture, go down to Insert, and there's literally an option called Caption. And it'll start out, I don't know, they always seem to have this figure 1. I'll just leave that for now. You can select below or above. We're just going to leave this for right now, and then what we're going to type here is we'll just put here, in my case it's a giraffe picture, so we'll just say tourist feeding a giraffe. And then this is where spelling is important because it's going to people are going to see it. So if you not sure how to spell something, you can always go double check it. Now this now has been created. I can highlight this and maybe center it. If I don't like that figure 1 in there, maybe you like it, maybe you don't, I can click in there and hit delete and take out figure 1. And if I want to edit this here, I can make it perhaps a bit bigger. I can make it a different color. There's a lot of different things I could do to it. Now, this is a practice assignment, so if you want to try a couple different ones out, a couple different methods, that's okay, because it's really just to see how this stuff works. Now, another way you can do a caption, like over here, for example, is with a simple text box. So we'll go to Insert. We'll go to Text Box up here. Put Draw Text Box. And then we'll draw our own text box underneath here. Now then what I do, you can zoom in if need be. Let's see here. Will this let me zoom in? No, it won't. Okay. So I'm going to undo that. Okay. I guess it did subscript. I thought it was going to zoom in. But either way, not a big deal. So this is the entrance. So we'll put the entrance to the zoo. And of course, if you're making this all look the same, you can highlight this. You can go back to home here, and you can change the size. You can change the color. You can center it, change the font, whatever you want to do. Now, don't worry if these look a little different if you do the caption this way and you do another one with a text box. Now, another trick is if you did want to make a bunch look the same, you can click on an existing one, do a copy, do a paste, and drag it down underneath another one, and then just double click and edit the text. This one I'm just simply putting the lemurs at the zoo. Okay, so these are some tricks, and of course the borders can be taken off of this here. You can click on it, you can go up here, make it no outline so there's no border on it. Now if you don't want the fill, you can click on it again, go up here, say no fill, so then you just end up with the text there. So that's another option. I'm not going to do the whole thing right there, but we go Insert, go to Text Box, Draw Text Box, and then we can make one down here. Part of it's cut off, but this is where we can put things like, zoo hours, and I'm just going to do something really quick. I'll do 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Do tickets, and then put some prices, adults, children, whatever underneath. And of course, all this is editable. You can highlight it, change the fonts, go back to home, change the colors, change the size. I'll give it a dark green color, make it a little bit bold, and I'll make it a little bit bigger. Don't want it too big, but maybe a little bit bigger would be nice. And of course, the text box itself, you could click on and go back to, let's see, we'll just double click on the edge of that, and it brings up shape format, toolbar, and then I could go up here and have, if I don't want to, well, we don't want to fill in this case. I'm going to do a different fill though. I'll do maybe a really light color like that. And if I want to leave the border, if I want to change the border, make it a little thicker. This one I'm going to make a little bit thicker so you can see it better. And then eventually when we're done, we may add a few more features on here in class, but that's going to cover most of it. Some of the things that you may not be aware of is you can click on any of these images and you get this picture format box right here. You can actually go over here to the side menu, and there's all kinds of things you can do. You can add a shadow onto your picture. So I just added a shadow onto that one. I'm going to go up to this one where you can see it a little bit there. I'm going to go this one here, and I'm also going to add a shadow. This one I'm going to add a little different shadow. Comes from a little different angle. There's all kind of settings in here to adjust whatever you pick. I'm going to click on this one here. I could, let's see here, what else do we got here? I got here where I can edit the picture. I can click here, go down to picture correction, picture color, and I could adjust the way it looks. Look at that, I'm changing the way the picture looks. Can adjust the sharpness, the brightness, look at that, made it brighter, the contrast. You can do all that right in Microsoft Word. So you just double click to get the picture format toolbar, this should pop up over here, and you can start editing away. So you can edit the pictures, edit borders around them. If you want to put a border around your whole thing here, the secret to that is click, out. Don't select something, just click outside of it. Go up here to Format and go to Borders and Shading. And one thing we haven't talked about yet, we've done the borders like this where you can click and put it around a paragraph or some text. But you can do a page border. Just click here where it says Page Border. You can scroll down. Say I want something, let's see, maybe something like that. Maybe I want a color on it. This one I'll do a dark green. 3 point. Now this is going to go where I put the margin. So that ½ inch is where it's going to go. Now it's set right here for the whole document. I don't want art. These are all these weird symbols. That looks terrible, so don't do that. And I can just hit OK. And then put a border around my entire Binder Park Zoo here. So you can kind of see how that there looks. Okay. So that is my quick review of the zoo poster and of the cars, and covers a lot of skills. My next tutorial will cover the front of the house and the house layout. So without further ado, good luck on your projects, and these videos are here to help you, or if you miss my lesson or just simply need to review it. Good luck.